What's going on, guys? Hi, guys. My name is Kris Chana. I'm the owner of Chelsea Place Senior Care and the host of Senior Source TV here. Our goal is to help you guys, whether you're a family caregiver, you're caring for your aging parents, you're caring for a spouse or a loved one. Our goal is to help you understand and find local senior resources in your area. So today, here's what we're going to talk about today. Today, what do you do if you're caring for your mom or your dad or your spouse? What do you do? Where do you turn? Like, are you stressed out? Are you burnt out? You've been maybe caregiving for them for a while now. I don't know if you're living with them or on their own. I'm not sure your exact situation. I'm going to try to dial those things in other videos. But today, in general, what I want to know is, if you're that person that is going through this struggle and you just don't know where to turn, we're here to help you, okay? And so we created a system, and it's gonna be very, very helpful for you guys. But it's called here, I'm gonna grab some real quick. It's called Florida's 5-Step Guide to Senior Care. Right now, we're currently in Florida. That's where we're primarily located. However, it's not that we can't help someone elsewhere, but this every single state might have some different regulations as far as what's licensed, what's not licensed, what's considered to be like an assisted living facility versus an adult family care home. Every single state, and that's just one example, but they're all going to have different things set up. But either way, we are specialists here. We're senior care experts here in Florida. We definitely understand the industry as a whole, nationwide, but we definitely have a lot of knowledge in the Florida area. So today, what I'm going to talk about is the 5 steps, right? The 5 steps, Florida's 5-Step Guide to Senior Care. So what we actually have is step one. We like to call this like kind of it's the be proactive step. And essentially what this stage really is all about is self-awareness, it's just being aware of what you're walking through. You might be stressed out, your loved one might have caught, just completely stressed you. You might be exhausted, but sometimes you may have not walked through this being proactive step. You might just be going through the motions of just caring for your mom or dad or your spouse just because you have to. And you may not have ever looked into like, well, what's the future look like for me? Because you've just been so busy just caring for them. So today we're going to talk about being proactive, and then we also have our other step is step two. I'm going to change the purple because it seems to be working better. So step two is organizing. Organized legal affairs. Organized legal affairs. So what's interesting is, step one again about being proactive is mainly going to be like, have you noticed mom or dad losing their mind a little bit? Have you noticed your spouse, suffering from the onset of dementia or Alzheimer's? To what extent? Are they still living on their own? Are you living? Is there a family close by? Do they have other resources available to them? Have they been diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, or Parkinson's disease? Are you noticing that they have expired foods in the fridge, that they're not eating properly, that they're driving, but they probably shouldn't be driving? There might be all these things that when you come into town, you're like, man, I got to take care of this, but I haven't had time to, and I don't know who to talk to. So being proactive is step one. Step two, organizing legal affairs. This is, healthcare power of attorney. This is going to also be your financial power of attorney, your living will, your will in trust. This is going to be, a lot of people don't even know the difference between a living will and a DNR. So there's all these things that can go along with that. You might, funeral arrangements, that might be another thing that would go under kind of organizing your legal affairs. And what this is doing is this is setting you up to make sure that someone in the family or someone that's a relative or a friend can kind of oversee the care of this person that you might be caring for. It might be, like I said, your aging parents, might be your spouse, whoever the case may be. But someone's got to take responsibility of them if something were to happen and they were to to not be cognizant or not be able to make decisions on their own, right? So that's kind of where this organizing legal affairs comes into play, because if someone were to become incapacitated, or they couldn't make decisions on their own anymore, and you didn't have the proper authorities in place in step two, what would happen is now it's going to make everything extremely difficult for you. So if you have that conversation and you have that conversation earlier on, and your mom or your dad or your spouse or your family and everyone's gonna at least be in agreement, or at least the conversation may have started, and the person that we're talking about can pinpoint who they want managing their finances, who they want making their healthcare decisions. Having all that stuff laid out in advance is going to make your life so much easier if and when you have to care for your mom or dad or your spouse. It's just going to make the whole process easier. It's going to reduce. I'm not saying it's going to eliminate family problems, because family problems are going to exist either way, but it's going to reduce maybe the family problems a little bit. So hopefully they're not as significant or as prevalent. So step three. So we have step 1 and 2, and then step 3 would be financial plan. Make a financial plan. And let's see, I don't know if I'm spelling that right. Make a financial plan. And the idea behind making a financial plan is by doing this in advance, I now understand what my mom or dad or my spouse, or if it's us or the kids, like, now I'm starting to put together a game plan for, well, what can they afford? What can they afford on a monthly basis? Because eventually they're going to need care, and can we afford care? And how much care can we afford? And based on what we can afford is going to kind of determine what we end up doing for mom, because as much as we want mom to stay home, home care might be an expensive route if we needed to go 24/7. So we might need to know what our alternatives are. Can we afford home care? Can we afford some of these other types of care out there? So understanding, making a financial plan, understanding, hey, mom or dad might have a long-term care insurance policy that you never knew about. Mom and dad might have they might be invested in the stock market, and you may have not had any idea what money was set aside in the stock market, a 401k, IRA. I'm sure there's so much money that is sitting, in the stock market, that's sitting away in funds that people didn't even know existed, because their loved ones never made them aware of those things, or their children never actually reached out or asked them about those things. So making a financial plan is extremely important. Understand what does insurance pay for? What does insurance not pay for? What financial assistance is available to me? Do I sell my home? Do I keep my home? Am I in a conservative portfolio or a risky portfolio in my investments? Do I get a reverse mortgage? What is a reverse mortgage? All these things that are going to come into this financial plan equation that people are going to be hitting you up for. What's the difference between Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare Advantage? All this confusing stuff, right? So that's step 1, 2, and 3. Be proactive, organizing legal affairs, making a financial plan. Step 4 is care. Finding the right care. So, what care options do I have available to me? This is going to be everything from in-home care to, well, what's the difference between private duty home care and Medicare home care? What's the difference between those two things? What's the difference between, an assisted living facility, an adult family care home, a skilled nursing facility, a nursing home? I know I'm just throwing all this content at you, but the reality of it is there's all these options out there, and they can be very overwhelming, and most people may not understand what they are, how they work, or how much they cost, right? So at least visiting, not, you don't have to go to these places, but just kind of maybe having a general idea of what exists out there is going to be helpful. So that way you can kind of, because all these things are going to have different costs and structures, different price points, different monthly expenses. So just having a good understanding of the finance plan will help you make a better care decision. And then, of course, last but not least, one of the most important is, how do I choose the right provider? The right provider. How do I choose this all these layers here? Up here, you might be in the proactive stage. You might be reaching out to a support group, an Alzheimer's support group, a Parkinson's support group, about the proactive stage. Over here in step 2, organizing legal affairs, you're going to have to be maybe in conversation with an elder law attorney, a funeral home, pre-needs, all that kind of stuff. Financial planning, you're going to have to be in conversation with insurance companies. You're going to maybe your financial planner, your financial advisor. Here are all these different care options. So how do you choose the right ones? Where do you go to find these people? These are all major decisions, and they don't all have to be made at the same time. But the problem is, what I've noticed over the years is that you might speak to an elder law attorney that may not know as much about the different types of care available, or you may go to your regular attorney, your family attorney, if you have one, and they may give you poor elder law advice that's not going to be applicable to your parents' needs or your spouse's needs. You may go to your financial planner. He may not understand anything about this whole care thing and all the different options out there, and he may put you in the wrong plans to pay for these things. Who knows? The reality is, you got to find a way to, like, okay, well, what do I do to choose this provider over that provider? How do I know if I'm making the right decision? So in that case, our ultimate goal is we've been through this process with thousands of families. It's a completely free service. I feel like it is my responsibility, it is my duty to the community, to the public, to help people walk through this process because I've seen so many families come to me. They might have already taken care of. They might have already been in the support groups. They'd be doing all this stuff. They may have met with the law attorney. They have all their paperwork in place. But here, 3 and 4, man, they're just confused. They don't know where to turn, what to do. They might even just need someone to kind of coax them along and reassure them that this is okay and that and they may be lost in these stages. So what I've noticed is that throughout my experience, I've met people at all sorts of various levels, and I've had to kind of like walk them back through this process. So everyone's going to come to you in a different situation. Our goal is that I'm hoping that I can reach out to you before this becomes a crisis situation. My goal is that I hope that me and you can have a conversation or we can talk on the phone and we can walk through this process a little bit before there's a crisis, situation, before it's too late, so we can have helped you walk through this process. And even if it's too late, we're here for you too. I'm just saying, my ultimate goal is to help people, go through this ahead of time and walk them through this so that they feel comfortable and they feel like they've made all the right decisions and they feel confident in the decisions that they're making. So if we can be of help to you, hey, do us a favor, like, share, comment on our YouTube page here. We want to grow this community. We want to help other caregivers that are walking through this process. We're going to be interviewing other experts in the industry in each of these fields, and we're going to walk through this process with you guys in more depth. But like, share, comment, show us some love. Sharing is caring. Hey, the more people we can help walk through this process, the more people that we can kind of take some of that burden off of them and what they're going through. So we appreciate you sharing this page with other people and people that are going through similar situations. So anyways, hey, thanks for your time. Again, my name is Kris Chana, the owner of Chelsea Place Senior Care and the host of Senior Source TV. And today we just went through the Florida's 5-step guide to senior care. So if you have any questions, give us a call. We're here to help. 941-677-7233. 941-677-7233. It's our senior care hotline. We're here to help, and it's completely free. Have a great evening, guys. See y'all later.